The moment is seismic. The gloves are off. And Britain is once again staring down the barrel of reckless political ambition. Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister and self-proclaimed champion of the people, has been caught red-handed. And this time, it's not by a reporter, not by an analyst, but by Nigel Farage himself, who exposed the ticking time bomb at the heart of Labour's housing plans. And now even the King has been drawn into the chaos, reportedly fuming behind palace walls over what insiders are calling a national betrayal. Let's break it down. Labour's grand plan led by Rayner to build 1.5 million homes over 5 years was sold to the public as the solution to the housing crisis. But now the truth is out. Up to 100,000 of those homes could be built in flood zones. Yes, flood zones. That's not just incompetence. That's endangering lives, destroying communities before the foundations are even poured. The revelation came after FAR's team uncovered key planning documents buried deep within the government's development strategy. The locations, flood-prone areas across the UK, some already known disaster zones, others recently added to risk registers due to climate change. The reaction explosive. The Association of British Insurers is warning that homes built in these zones could become completely uninsurable. You heard that right. Families could be handed the keys to brand new homes that insurance companies want nothing to do with. Louise Clark from the Abbey didn't hold back. There's no point building a load of homes in areas at risk of flooding without thinking about the flood risk as well. It's just irresponsible. And it gets worse. Homes built after 2009 aren't even covered by the government's flood reinsurance scheme. That means thousands of future homeowners under Rayner's plan will be left stranded, facing sky-high premiums or worse, total financial loss. When floods inevitably strike. It's no wonder that whispers from inside Buckingham Palace suggest the King, who has spent decades campaigning on environmental protection, is said to be deeply alarmed by the reckless nature of Rayner's project. One source claims His Majesty is privately furious, seeing it as a betrayal of the basic duty to protect British families and respect the environment. His Majesty sees this as a moral failing. The insider said the land is being abused for political headlines and the consequences will be catastrophic. The King isn't alone. Nigel Farage, who's been steadily climbing in the polls under the Reform UK banner, delivered a scathing blow to Labour's credibility. This isn't just bad planning. This is a betrayal. Angela Rayner is trying to buy votes with homes that could be underwater in a decade. It's madness. And the numbers back him up. From 2013 to 2022, 109,000 homes were built in flood-prone areas. Now, Labour is preparing to repeat the same mistakes on an even grander scale. Experts estimate 100,000 more will face the same fate under Rayner's watch. The British public isn't stupid. They can see what's happening. A desperate Labour government, tumbling in the polls, scrambling for headlines, is about to drop thousands of families into the middle of flood risk hell. And for what? A press release? A photo op? Meanwhile, Reform UK is on the rise, capitalising on the fallout. Their message is simple: common sense first. Build where it's safe. Protect homeowners. Don't play roulette with people's lives just to hit a number. And this goes beyond party lines. The insurance industry is begging the government to rethink. They are calling for at least £1 billion a year to be spent on flood defences just to make these developments remotely viable. And let's not forget, flood defences take years to build. Labour hasn't even started. Even the government itself has tried to spin this as part of its plan for change. A spokesman claimed we are investing £2.65 billion into flood defences, as if that somehow excuses the utter recklessness of building in the danger zones in the first place. Let's be clear, this is Angela Rayner's mess. She owns it. She's the one pushing for high-density development without proper oversight. She's the one waving through zoning proposals that make insurers panic. She's the one promising rooftops without ensuring the ground underneath isn't a soggy disaster waiting to happen. And as Farage pointed out, this isn't just a policy misstep. It's a moral failure. Because once those homes are built, it's not Angela Rayner it won't be the bureaucrats signing the plans who show up when the living rooms flood and the furniture floats. It'll be families, children, working people, all of them abandoned. And what happens then? No insurance, no support, no accountability, just a shrug from a government more interested in headlines than housing safety. The anger is spreading. Social media is ablaze with photos of known floodplains earmarked for development. Residents are demanding answers. Insurance firms are sounding the alarm. And behind the scenes, even the monarchy is said to be losing patience. Angela Rayner thought she could ride a housing boom to political glory. Instead, she's detonated a scandal that cuts across class, party, and region. It's not just incompetence, it's dangerous, and now the backlash has begun. The king is furious. Fur is rising. And Rayner, she's nowhere to be seen. While Labour tries to spin this as visionary planning, the reality is far darker. It's a house of cards built on swampy ground, and it's starting to collapse. One expert put it best. We're building tomorrow's disasters today. So, here we are. The future of Britain's housing crisis was supposed to be safe, sustainable, and smart. What we've got instead is a political circus, a looming insurance nightmare, and the horrifying prospect of thousands of families being placed in direct harm's way. Angela Rayner built this mess. Nigel Farage caught it. And the king is furious. And when the crown is shaking its head at the government's failure to protect its own people, you know the storm is already here. In another news, Sir Keir Starmer is on the brink. Not just of a policy blunder, not just of a messaging failure. No, he's on the verge of full-blown insurrection within his own party. Labour, the party built on protecting the vulnerable, is now mulling over slashing disability benefits. The very lifeline that keeps some of the most vulnerable members of society afloat. PIP, the personal independence payment, isn't some luxury check. It's not a bonus. It's the bare minimum for people who can't get through the day without serious help. Washing, eating, using the toilet, reading, basic human tasks. And this government wants to make those people prove they are suffering even more just to keep the support that lets them survive. And what's Starr's response to this moral disgrace? Silence, shrugs, empty slogans about listening. While his own party explodes around him. Tandies, no lightweight in the party, the chair of the Commons Defence Committee has fired the warning flare. He says the government needs corrective action. That's code for this is a disaster. Not just policy-wise, but morally bankrupt. DY isn't some Tory-hating backbencher. He's a senior figure waving a red flag so high it should be visible from orbit. He's practically begging Stalla to wake up. The message from the public in the local elections was clear. Enough with the cruelty. People didn't vote for Labour so they could watch their loved ones suffer in silence. And yet here we are with a Labour leadership pushing ahead with plans that sound like they were copy-pasted straight from the Conservative playbook. And don't think it's just easy. The rebellion is growing fast. About 40 Labour MPs in the Red Wall, the very regions that Labour needs to win and hold, are openly rebelling. They are reposting statements slamming the leadership's response to the local elections as tone deaf. They are not whispering behind closed doors. They are screaming it in public. During a parliamentary debate, the dam broke. Ian Byrne, MP for Liverpool West Derby, didn't mince words. He said he would swim through vomit to vote against these PIP cuts. That's not political rhetoric. That's desperation. That's fury from someone who knows what this policy means in real life. And he wasn't done. He spat out the truth. This is not what the Labour Party was formed to do. And he's right. The party of Attlee Beavenon and Foot wasn't built to gut support for disabled people. Then came Belle River Riberoati, who dropped a bombshell of her own. She warned tightening PIP eligibility won't just make lives harder, it will cause deaths. She reminded Parliament of the devastating truth. Austerity cuts under the Tories led to an estimated 330,000 excess deaths between 2012 and 2019. That's not just a number. That's grandparents, sons, daughters wiped out by heartless policy. And now Keir Starmer wants to pick up where the Tories left off. Even Diane Abbott, the longest-serving female MP, called out the contradictions. Starmer's team claims they are helping disabled people by pushing them into work, but then they brag about saving £9 billion from these cuts. You can't do both. Either you're investing in support or you're gutting it to balance the books. Abbott called it out for what it is. Hypocrisy at the highest level. But maybe the most chilling